Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the news briefing this Wednesday, October 15th. What do you feel are our community's needs regarding mental health, substance abuse, and housing services? Well, if you have thoughts on this, you can make those feelings known through a community survey as well as some listening sessions coming up later this month. So we are going to talk more about this, why those issues are important. We've got Melanie Rhodes from our County of Monterey Behavioral Health, and along with Fabricio Chombo, also with County of Monterey Behavioral Health, who will be providing this presentation in Spanish for us. Thank you for joining us today on the briefing.
Thanks so much for having us here today, Maya. We're happy to talk with you about both the survey and also the listening sessions. And I'm going to turn it over to Fabricio to lead us in this today. And I just want to let folks know that while he will be screen sharing some information, I will be dropping that information into the chat so folks can have that as a resource. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you. Yeah, we're going to be tag teaming this. So first, I wanted to start with a little bit of history on why we need to do this, right? So this is tied to the Behavioral Health Services Act, and it's what is known as the community planning process. So Behavioral Health Services Act, currently known as the Mental Health Services Act, is a law that began in 2004 with the approval of Proposition 63. And in short, just a high-level overview, it essentially imposed a 1% tax on income above $1 million. And so for this reason, it is known as the millionaire's tax. And so the law established fairly strict regulations on how the funding that is generated from this tax must be used, as well as some other rules and processes that must be followed as part of its regulations. And then kind of fast forwarding to last year, March 2024, there were additional changes to this law when Proposition 1 was approved by voters. And so essentially it changed the way the funds are used and added additional reporting requirements and processes to develop what is called a 3-year integrated plan. And so that is the reason why we are here today. So we need help from the community to plan and provide mental health and substance use services that correspond to the needs of our community. And so again, this is what it's known as the community planning process. So what is the community planning process? Well, it's essentially a key part of BHSA, Behavioral Health Services Act, that it ensures that local residents, families, and the community groups have a voice on how behavioral health services are planned and provided in the county. Some of the key points about this is that it helps us create that 3-year integrated plan that shows how the funds will be used for mental health and substance use programs. The plan helps us coordinate services, improve access, and focus on those who need help the most. So the community participation is a requirement. So we're asking families, service users, service providers, school, local organizations, the whole community to contribute their ideas. And this will help us be transparent about how these funds are spent so that the community can participate meaningfully. The plan also has what's known as priority populations. And so these are people who are homeless or at risk of homelessness, people involved in or at risk of involvement with the justice system, those returning to the community after incarceration, or people at risk of institutionalization or guardianship. And then additionally, youth in the child welfare system. So again, why this is important? It's to ensure that the community voices are heard in our decision-making process. It helps us plan a fair, effective, and recovery-focused programs, reducing gaps and inequalities in mental health services, and more importantly, creating a map of how these funds are going to be used, benefiting the entire community. So after this short summary, we want to focus on what we're here for and what we're looking from the community. So there's 2 ways currently to participate in these efforts. One is by completing a short survey, and as Melanie noted, she shared it in the chat. It's a short 22-page survey, and hopefully you can all see it here, which takes about 10 to 15 minutes to complete. And sorry, I went too fast, but these are some of the questions that you can see. And to help you with this, we also have a QR code that I will stay in here for a little bit so that people can actually click on that and be able to access that survey. We have it both in English and Spanish. This will link you to the English version of the survey. And then the other way that the community can participate is by attending one or more of our listening sessions. So currently we have 6 that are scheduled, and here are those dates, also with QR codes to join the meetings. And again, the flyer is shared in the chat. And so again, 6 sessions have been scheduled. 4 of them are virtual and 2 are in person. All the virtual sessions will be in English with Spanish translation available. And then the 2 in-person sessions will be conducted entirely in Spanish. So our first one, it's this coming Monday. It's a virtual session with the Village Project from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And again, this one's virtual. But all the information is here on that. And then if there are no questions, I can go over to the Spanish translation for this.
Yes, please go ahead and do in Spanish.
Excellent, excellent. All right. So, buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Fabricio Chombo. Soy el subdirector interino del Departamento de la Oficina de Salud Conductual del Departamento de Salud del Condado de Monterrey. Conmigo está nuestra directora, la señorita Melanie Rhodes. Y estamos aquí tomando esta oportunidad para proveer un poco de información acerca de un proceso que nuestra oficina está pasando por ahora. El proceso se llama el proceso de planificación comunitaria y es parte de la ley de salud conductual, de servicios de salud conductual. Hay un poco de historia de esta ley. Comenzó en el 2004 con la aprobación de la proposición 63. En resumen, lo que esta ley hizo fue imponer un impuesto del 1% a ingresos de más de $1 millón. Y por esta razón es conocida como el impuesto millonario. La ley tiene unas regulaciones bastante rigurosas de cómo deben ser usados estos fondos, además de otras reglas en procesos que hay que seguir como parte de sus regulaciones. Adelantándonos un poquito al tiempo, en marzo del 2024 hubo cambios a esta ley cuando la proposición 1 fue aprobada por los electores. Este cambio trajo varios cambios en la forma en que los fondos que son generados por esta ley pueden ser utilizados. Además, agrega más requisitos de informes, reportes y procesos para desarrollar lo que se le nombra el plan integrado. Este plan integrado es el motivo por el cual estamos aquí en este informe. Necesitamos la ayuda de nuestra comunidad para que nos ayude a planificar y brindar servicios de salud mental y de uso de sustancias que respondan a las necesidades de nuestra comunidad. Esto es lo que se conoce como el proceso de planificación comunitaria y es algo que hacemos año tras año. Un poco de información acerca del proceso de planificación comunitaria. De nuevo, es una parte clave de esta ley que garantiza que los residentes del condado, familias y grupos comunitarios tengan voz en cómo se planifican y ofrecen los servicios de salud conductual en el condado. Algunos puntos claves de este proceso es que los condados hay un requisito de crear a lo que se llama un plan integrado de 3 años que muestra cómo se usarán los fondos para programas de salud mental y de uso de sustancias. El plan ayuda a nuestro condado y a todos los demás condados en California a coordinar servicios, mejorar el acceso y enfocarnos en quienes necesitan la ayuda, más ayuda. Es un requisito que la comunidad participe y estamos buscando familias, personas que usan nuestros servicios, proveedores de estos servicios, escuelas y otras organizaciones locales que puedan aportar sus ideas. El condado, y es un requisito también ser transparentes de cómo se utiliza este dinero para que la comunidad pueda participar de manera significativa. Este plan se enfoca en poblaciones prioritarias, las cuales son personas que están sin hogar o que están en riesgo de estar involucradas o en riesgo de perder su hogar, personas que estén en riesgo de involucrarse con el sistema legal, regresando a la comunidad después de estar en la cárcel, en riesgo de institucionalización o tutela, o jóvenes que estén en el sistema de bienestar infantil. La razón por qué esto es importante es porque garantiza que las voces de la comunidad sean escuchadas en la toma de decisiones, nos ayuda a planificar programas justos, efectivos y enfocados en la recuperación, reduce brechas y desigualdades en servicios de salud mental y nos va a ayudar a crear un mapa de cómo se usarán los fondos para beneficiar a toda la comunidad. Así es que lo que estamos aquí, lo que queremos es que hay dos maneras de participar en este proceso. Uno de ellos es al llenar una encuesta. Y déjenme comparto mi pantalla para ver lo que esta encuesta. Es una encuesta pequeña. Son 22 preguntas. Toma un poco 10 a 15 minutos para completarla. Y voy a ojear aquí un poquito para que vean más o menos las preguntas. Para ayudar un poco con esto, tenemos este código QR que se ve aquí, donde pueden apuntar su cámara, hacer clic y acceder a la encuesta. La otra manera en la que pueden participar es asistir a una de nuestras sesiones de escucha. Actualmente tenemos agendadas seis sesiones. 4 son virtuales y 2 en persona. Todas las sesiones virtuales serán en inglés, pero hay traducción al español y las 2 sesiones en persona serán facilitadas completamente en español. Son las sesiones que ahorita están en persona, son el 22 de octubre a las 5:30 y la otra es el jueves 23 de agosto en Castroville. Aquí tenemos la dirección para si quieren atender, también los códigos QR para si quieren atender a esas otras sesiones que son virtuales. Y eso es todo lo que tenemos por hoy. Estamos aquí para responder a cualquier pregunta que tengan. So we have it today and we're here for any questions you may have.
Fabricio, thank you so much for doing this information twice. We do have a question, and it has to do with getting people to come to these listening sessions, whether virtually or in person. How can we encourage people to come and share what they're thinking? There are a lot of people who may think, gosh, what do I have to offer? You know, I'm not really sure I know that much. How can we encourage them to share maybe their concerns or find out things that they don't know?
Well, one word of encouragement or sentence of encouragement is that input is really meaningful, right? So if you show up to our listening sessions, we want to hear what the concerns are so that we can actually strategize and see how those services can be provided in the community. You know, we've been doing this year after year, and we're trying to update every time we make these presentations on things that we heard in the past and how some of those gaps have been addressed. So it's extremely important, and it really drives the services that we're providing here in the county.
And the only thing I would add,
Thank you.
if I could jump in, Maya, sorry. The only thing I would add is there's no right or wrong answers. Really, we're just asking for people's observations, feelings, opinions on things, whether it's from their personal experience or they're sharing something that they're aware of, that's there's a need in the community, you know, via their, you know, their other community activities and engagement, like whatever that they're observing that is happening in the community. Because the thing with this and the importance of this is if it's not areas that are identified in our focus groups, in our listening sessions, in these things, then we can't really leverage and use the funding to help, you know, develop programming in that area. And so it really does have an important impact on the development of our integrated plan. And it's requiring like this transition as Fabricio was talking about. Really, the state is now requiring even additional expanded stakeholder engagement. So we're really needing everyone to come out, complete the survey, get their voices heard, and we just welcome everyone's thoughts and opinions.
And just a question, just from my end, do you feel a lot has been done over the last few years to demystify these issues? Some people just didn't know how to talk about it, or they're not sure they should talk about it. And now it seems there's a lot more normalizations of taking on topics that might have once been considered, I don't want to really talk about that.
For sure. I think, we've those of us who work in this field have family members or friends with experiencing mental health, substance use challenges. We know there's like a lot of stigma around it, and sometimes folks carry a lot of shame with it. But I think honestly, we're seeing with like the younger generations that things are really helping us move along, because we're finding that they're a lot more comfortable sort of talking about these things. And so I think they're really helping us move forward in that. And there's just been so much work done, not only by providers of behavioral health services, but advocates in this area to really, create that safe space to talk about it. Because what we do know is that if we talk about it, we have this sense of community, then things seem a little bit more manageable, and then we can all move forward.
Thank you both for being here to talk about both the survey and the listening sessions. And we keeping our fingers crossed you get a fantastic turnout for both.
Thanks so much for having us. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Coming up now on our next topic, coming up this weekend in Salinas, is one of the biggest resource fairs in our area, all designed for job seekers of all abilities. There will be more than 100 inclusive employers, training providers, and local organizations. We're very pleased to have Keith Chua from the Department of Rehabilitation joining us. He has organized this tremendous event. Keith, thanks very much for coming on the briefing today to talk about this.
Thank you so much for inviting me too. I wanted to just invite everybody in. And as of now, we've reached full capacity. We actually are at 117 vendors. So it's just amazing that most of the times organizations will have problems in getting vendors in. Now I have problems in getting vendors a seat. Well, this one actually started last year, just me and one of the gals from workforce. We're just talking about, we don't really have a event wherein we have everything in one roof. So I call this a womb to tomb resource fair, mainly because you have resources from kids all the way to the elderly, and especially the veterans too. So yes, I do want to invite everybody who listening right now, who's on here, please come and join us. It's gonna be a fun-filled event. Hopefully, everything that any kind of resource that you might be looking for, would be here. If not, then I'm pretty much sure that somebody out of the 170 would be able to point you to the right direction. And that's my main purpose, is really, giving back to the community, letting the community know that we do have a lot of agencies here who actually could help everybody.
And so, Keith, one of the things that is just phenomenal about this event, it's for job seekers of all abilities. And
Yes.
and we actually did get some social media interaction with people who are saying, I am one of those job seekers. What could I find there at this event that might help me? Can you give an idea of the kind of vendors that could be resources for someone who needs a more inclusive employer?
Yeah, so for example, now we do have Department of Rehabilitation is one of the we're one of the main people who are actually in this event. So a lot of our partners, community partners, vendors like NCI affiliates, I'm trying to get interim to still at least share a table with us. Um, I mean, we do have also 3 or 4 people from trades who are coming over to put a table. Um, again, I want to cater to all sorts of people, people with disabilities, people who sometimes don't want to go to college anymore, but do want to work. So that's why I did invite some of these trades, like HVAC, electrical, to come in and educate our youth that, hey, you know what? If you come and become an apprentice in this type of field, it's like you'll be earning like around 70,000 a year, so which is great for people who are starting. So a lot of these things, again, we don't know until we actually go in and ask, right? That's the reason why I kind of put up something like this, like everything under the sun.
And that's exactly, I think, what people are looking for. Because do you find that people who are your target audience are not really sure where to start in their job search? And are you also finding that more employers are inclined to be more inclusive, that maybe people's expectations that they wouldn't be considered, that they really would be considered for employment?
Yes, actually, I did bump to one of the vendors who's going to be there, which is BJ's restaurant. When I spoke with the manager, I asked him, "Are you open to hiring people who have disabilities?" And he said, "Well, I'm not so sure because I don't understand what type of disabilities and what they can do." And I said, people with disabilities is not the usual ones that you see, the people on a wheelchair or people, everybody has speculations on people with disabilities, what they cannot do, right? But they don't understand what they actually can do. And that's how I go around getting these vendors, educating them that, hey, let's try to, I heard a while ago on the first presentation about the stigma, right? On how people have that stigma if they see somebody or they hear or they even read something on their application form that they have a disability. It's like, oh, I'm afraid, right? So we need more education on that, on how do we go about knowing that people with disabilities actually are a big asset to the company, because I educate them wherein they have a harder time getting a job or finding a job. And once they land a job, they actually are more loyal than anybody else because they know how hard it is to land into that job. And I educate most of the employers on people who have disabilities. So hopefully this one, shines a light to everybody that, don't be afraid. And me, myself, I'm a job coach. I tell my clients, your disability is actually your superpower. I always tell that to them because having a disability, makes people, it makes you kind of be better on something else. Like you hone your senses into something else. You hone your abilities to something else, and it makes you actually a better worker than anybody else. And I always tell that to people because, again, they do have a harder time finding jobs.
But it's good to know you have a superpower because we've all got it. We just have to find it, right?
Yes, we do.
So remind people again about when the fair is. I know it's coming up this Sunday, correct?
Yeah, it's Saturday. So it's going to be this Saturday at the Northridge Mall. Again, it's inside the mall. So a lot of people are asking me, is it outside? It's inside the mall. And they go, how are going to fit 117 people, 117 tables? And I say, go there and see the magic. I planned this since January. So it's been a long planning, making sure that everybody can fit and making sure we have enough space for people to roam around. But I do also encourage people, once they come in, they will actually get a map and a list of vendors. Again, the mall is pretty big, so we're doing it from Sears all the way to the Macy's. From previous years all the way to the Macy's. So it's the whole mall, and again, it's divided into different sections. And what we try to do is put their resources that would cater to different age group in different sections, so they don't have to waste their time going, roaming through the whole mall. So the map will help them a lot. Again, it's 1 to 4 p.m. inside the mall. I have two DJs actually who's gonna have we're gonna have music, entertainment inside too. Yes, it's gonna be a fun event for the whole family. That's why I call it a womb to tomb resource fair. So I encourage everybody to bring the whole family because there will be resources for every age group.
Keith, thanks so much for being here to talk about this fantastic event, and we hope for another great turnout like you did last year.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Well, our special election is just around the corner now. If anybody's been watching the calendar, our registrar of voters, Gina Martinez, is here. She is going to tell us what is happening with the special election. She's also going to tell us it is not too late to be a poll worker. And if you've got a high schooler, high school age student, they can learn about democracy in action too. Gina, thanks very much for being here. And we want to let people know that this presentation will also be provided in Spanish with our colleague Greta Arevalo. Hi, Gina.
Hi, Maya. Thank you so much for having us. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gina Martinez, Registrar of Voters for the County of Monterey, and joining me today is Greta Arevalo, Deputy Registrar of Voters. We'll be discussing the upcoming November 4th statewide special election, and we're going to hit on a couple of opportunities for our high school students. So, Greta, if you'll advance the slide. As with any election, we encourage our voters to be aware of important dates and deadlines. Ballots have already been mailed to all active voters, so you should have that in your box, if not on your kitchen table. If you haven't received your ballot yet, contact the elections office today. We will check your address information and reissue a ballot for you. This coming Monday is an important deadline. It is the last day for regular voter registration. If you register by this date, a ballot will be sent to you. If you register after this date, we will be able to assist you in person with a provisional ballot. In-person voting is available at the Monterey County Elections Office Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We will open our satellite office at Embassy Suites on Canyon Del Rey and Seaside on October 31st. And of course, November 4th is Election Day, or as we call it, the last day to vote. Next slide. If you have received your ballot packet, we encourage you to open that packet. And for the first time in many, many, many years, you will see a single contest ballot in your packet. This is Proposition 50. A yes vote on this measure means the state would use new legislative drawn congressional district maps starting in 2026. California's new maps would be used until the California Citizens Redistricting Commission draws new maps following the 2030 U.S. Census. A no vote on this measure means current congressional district maps drawn by the California Citizens Redistricting Commission would continue to be used until in California until the commission draws new maps following that 2030 census. And I got that information straight from my state voter information guide, so you can as well. It's all at our fingertips. If you are ready to vote, we encourage you, don't delay, vote today, return that ballot early. Next slide. This election by the numbers, we currently have just over 219,000 registered voters. Just over 23,000 ballots have been returned as of yesterday, and there are only 20 days left to vote. In other words, there is plenty of time to be early. Next slide. Every election, there are important notes, and this election is no exception. As always, polling places may change for a number of reasons. If you intend to vote in person, or you're one of the 40,000 plus voters who likes to return their vote by mail ballot to the polling place, please check your ballot packet to find your assigned polling place. You can also find this information on the Monterey County Elections website or by calling the elections office. We will also be mailing a household notice to areas of the county where polling places have changed. Now, new this year to most of the county, but not all of the county, are electronic poll rosters. Previously, we have used electronic poll rosters in different areas of the county for several elections to support continuity of voting operations in an emergency. We are now rolling this out countywide because it has been so well received by our voters and by our poll workers. This really does improve the check-in process for our voters. Now, finally, Monterey County Elections has long held that voters returning their mail ballot on Election Day should return that ballot to an official return box or to a polling place. This year, what we're hearing from the United States Postal Service and the Secretary of State's office and other election officials is that we all are giving that same message. If it's November 4th, election day, take it to an elections official box or a polling place. Do not drop it off at the USPS unless you're able to go inside and get the date stamp, because we do need that date stamp in order to count that ballot if it's received after election day. Next slide. Finally, we believe that early positive engagement with our youth leads to a lifetime of voting. At Monterey County elections, we work to empower our current and our future voters to be civically engaged. We are proud to announce that of the approximately 650 poll workers scheduled for this election, nearly 90 of those poll workers are from our local high schools. These young men and women are seeking to learn more about voting while serving their communities. We have several opportunities for our high school students to get engaged and help their community. This includes our high school poll worker program, outreach volunteers where they can table community events, promote the vote coordinator role during high school voter education weeks in April and September, and our wildly popular civic engagement internship where students compete the requirements of the state seal of civic engagement, so they can actually earn an award for graduation doing work with the elections office. High school poll workers can earn community service or a paid stipend of $135. All other programs offer community service. And now the Deputy Registrar of Voters will give this presentation in Spanish.
Thank you, Gina, and good afternoon, everyone. Buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Greta Arevalo. Soy la registradora adjunta de votantes del Condado de Monterrey. Y el día de hoy estoy con Gina Martinez, la registradora de electores del Condado de Monterrey. Hoy presentamos sobre la próxima elección especial estatal del 4 de noviembre. Al igual que con cualquier elección, alentamos a nuestros votantes a estar al tanto de las fechas importantes. Las boletas ya se han enviado por correo a todos los votantes activos. Y si aún no ha recibido su boleta, le pedimos que se comunique con nuestra oficina, donde podemos verificar la información de su dirección y volver a emitir una boleta. El próximo lunes es el último día para el registro regular de votantes. Si se registra antes de esta fecha, se le podrá enviar una boleta, y si se registra después de esta fecha, podremos ayudarlo en persona con una boleta provisional. La votación en persona está disponible en la Oficina de Elecciones del Condado de Monterrey de lunes a viernes de 8 a.m. a 5 p.m. y vamos a abrir nuestra oficina satélite en Embassy Suites en Canyon del Rey el 31 de octubre. Y por supuesto, el 4 de noviembre es el día de la elección y es el último día para votar. Si usted ha recibido su paquete electoral, le recomendamos que abra ese paquete. Allí usted encontrará una boleta de contienda única en todo el condado. No hemos visto una sola contienda desde hace mucho tiempo. En este caso es la proposición número 50. Un voto sí a esta proposición significa que el Estado utilizaría nuevos mapas de distritos legislativos a partir del 2026. Los nuevos mapas de California se utilizarán hasta que la Comisión Ciudadana de Delimitación de Distritos de California elabore nuevos mapas tras el censo de Estados Unidos del 2030. Un voto no a esta proposición significa que los mapas actuales de los distritos del Congreso elaborados por la Comisión Ciudadana de Delimitación de Distritos de California seguirían utilizándose en California hasta que la Comisión elabore nuevos mapas tras el censo de Estados Unidos del 2030. Y solo para hacerles saber, esta información fue capturada a través de la guía electoral del Estado, que todos lo tenemos a la punta de nuestros dedos. Así que si usted está listo para votar, le recomendamos que no se demore en votar hoy y devuelva esa boleta de manera temprana. En estas elecciones, según los números, actualmente tenemos más de 219,000 votantes registrados. Se han devuelto un poco más de 23,000 boletas y solo quedan 20 días para votar. En otras palabras, todavía hay mucho tiempo para votar temprano. Vemos notas importantes en cada elección y esta no es una excepción. Como siempre, los lugares de votación pueden cambiar por varias razones. Si la intención de votar en persona es de usted, por favor consulte su paquete de boletas para encontrar su lugar de votación asignado. También puede encontrar esta información en el sitio web de nuestra oficina o llame a la oficina de elecciones. También le enviaremos por correo un aviso de hogar a las áreas del condado donde haya habido cambios. Hemos tenido listas de votaciones electrónicas en diferentes áreas del condado para varias elecciones para apoyar a la continuidad de las operaciones de votación en caso de emergencias, pero ahora estamos implementando estas listas electrónicas en todos los lugares de votación para mejorar la experiencia de verificación para nuestros votantes y nuestros trabajadores electorales. El Departamento de Elecciones del Condado de Monterrey continúa y ha sostenido durante mucho tiempo que los votantes que devuelvan su boleta por correo el día de las elecciones deben devolver la boleta a un buzón oficial de devolución o a un lugar de votación. El servicio postal, o también conocido como USPS, el Estado y otras oficinas electorales ahora se unen con nosotros en este mensaje donde se motiva a las personas que si desean enviar su boleta por correo a través del servicio de correo postal, lo hagan antes del día de la elección para asegurarse de que su sobre tenga el sello de fecha adecuado y la devolución sea oportuna a la oficina electoral. De cualquier forma, si usted desea colocar ese sobre en una oficina de correo postal, se le recomienda que se asegure que le coloquen ese fecho y lo tiene que hacer en persona. Finalmente, creemos que el compromiso positivo temprano con nuestros jóvenes conduce a una vida de votación. En el Departamento de Elecciones del Condado de Monterrey, trabajamos para capacitar a nuestros votantes actuales y futuros para que se comprometan cívicamente. Estamos orgullosos de anunciar que de los aproximadamente 650 trabajadores electorales programados para esta elección, casi 90 de ellos son estudiantes de preparatoria que buscan aprender más sobre la votación mientras sirven a sus comunidades. Tenemos varias oportunidades para que nuestros estudiantes de preparatoria se involucren y ayuden a su comunidad. Esto incluye nuestro programa de trabajadores electorales de estudiantes en escuelas de preparatoria, voluntarios de alcance a la comunidad, voluntarios que pueden coordinar la promoción del voto durante las semanas de educación electoral en las preparatorias durante el mes de abril y septiembre, y nuestras prácticas de participación cívica, las que son muy populares, donde los estudiantes completan los requisitos para obtener el sello estatal del compromiso cívico en su diploma. Todos los trabajadores electorales de las escuelas preparatorias pueden ganar horas comunitarias o bien tener un estipendio pagado de $135 y el resto de los programas ofrecen un servicio comunitario. And with that, I will be happy to pass it back to Maya and answer any questions. Podemos contestar cualquier pregunta.
Ladies, thank you so much for being here and really running through a whole lot of information really very quickly. I do have a question about the student poll workers. This program has been amazingly popular. It's just been growing over the last few years. I'm wondering if you can describe some of what you're hearing from the students about as they look at working in the election system and working as poll workers. What are they telling you about their impressions? Because they're going to be our next leaders. They're going to be the ones voting the next generation of officials into office.
Thank you, Maya. You're absolutely correct. And we are very fortunate to be able to get feedback from our high school students every election. This summer, we had a number of high school students who worked at polling places in 2024 join us for our internship program, and they all had the same message. It was an incredible day of work. It was an incredible day of service, and they learned so much from the poll workers, the adult poll workers who were helping with them because they work side by side. Our students are not taking a lesser role. They're not relegated to duties outside, just standing around and holding a sign. They are helping to process voters and make sure that our voters have their right to vote and their voices heard. And our adult poll workers, those mentor poll workers, are really had an opportunity in 2024 to explain to our high school students why it's so important, one, to vote, but two, to be involved in civic engagement at all levels, not just voting, to be a poll worker, what it means to be able to help someone have that voice. And that resonated with the high school students. And some of them even came back and said, the voters talked to me and they thanked me for helping them. And they explained that this process is just so critical to our county and our community and the country. And it's incredible that as a high school student, I'm able to impact this. I'm able to make it happen. And hearing that come from students, it's just absolutely amazing. And it really just I'm just so much more optimistic every time I'm able to engage with these young people.
Yes, again, they're going to be the ones that are going to make decisions, for the rest of their life, and people who are going to take care of us when we're older. So
right? Yes.
It's just so encouraging to hear that kind of feedback. And it's so great that this program is just continuing to grow. And we'll be looking for them come November.
And remember to thank them. Yes.
Absolutely. Ladies, thank you both for sharing and updating on that important ballot information as well, that people
Absolutely.
just need to keep in mind. Appreciate it.
Wonderful. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, coming up this Sunday in King City, the downtown is going to be closed off to vehicles, and skaters and walkers and bicyclists are going to rule the area. That is Ciclovia, King City, and we're very pleased to have Karen Smith with our health department to tell us more about what is happening with Ciclovia. Hi, Karen.
Hello, man. So thank you for letting us sneak in here and just invite people down on Sunday from noon to 4 to beautiful King City. You can come down and see our new downtown plaza. There'll be entertainment, there'll be food, there'll be activities. The road will be blocked off. It's time to make friends and get out and do some fun stuff before the rains come and we all move inside. This is the third annual King City Ciclovia, so it's a popular program. Salinas just had theirs last weekend, and I just want to encourage everybody to come down to King City and join us.
And explain why the health department is so involved in this particular activity. And you also have other sponsors, other participants like TAMC.
TAMC's involved. So this was originally part of a program, Active Transportation, which is making available alternatives to driving. So biking, walking, roller skating, whatever you want to do. So TAMSI's involved. The King City, really, or the City of King, is really the main sponsor. We are supportive because we know that people get out and they get some exercise. Loneliness is a problem. They might meet some new friends. Another partner is Blue Zones, and there'll be food. Most importantly, there'll be food, and learning about what kind of healthy food you can eat and learn some new things like that. There's community services. It's an important part of bringing the community together. We don't just see health as that trip to the doctor. We see it as increasing the health and well-being of all of our community.
So give us the pointers again on the event.
So it's King City. Come on down to South County. It's our Main Street, Broadway, between San Lorenzo and First. Between noon and 4, there'll be music and food and events and fun stuff for the kids to do, and just an opportunity to get out and enjoy this. Hopefully, the sunshine. Knock on wood.
Karen, thank you so much, and really hope for the best for this event. It's always fun in the City of King.
Yes, it is. We are a fun bunch down here, so come on down.
And we're going to keep on the theme of transportation. Coming up later this month, there will be 2 community meetings for residents to find out more about the 101 South Salinas Corridor Improvement Project and the South of Salinas Access Management Project. They can see the design, they can ask questions about it. We're very pleased to have our colleagues from Caltrans District 5 to talk about what will be coming up at these sessions. And we're pleased to have Celeste Morales. Thank you, Celeste, for joining us on the briefing.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I have a presentation. I don't know if I could share my screen or someone else is gonna. Okay, let me figure that out in the background. Share. I have like multiple screens going on, so we'll see which one it is. All right, you guys. Okay. There?
We see you.
Okay, you don't see my screen.
We do.
Oh, you do. Okay, perfect. All right. Well, let me start. Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Celeste Morales, and I serve as a public information officer with Caltrans District 5, covering Monterey and Santa Cruz counties. Thank you all for joining us today. We're here to share some updates on US 101 South of Salinas corridor improvement projects, which are being planned and why it's important and how it will benefit our communities. This corridor plays a critical role in daily lives with regional economy, so we're excited to walk you through the improvements coming to this stretch of Highway 101. US 101 South of Salinas project focuses on 8-mile stretch of Highway 101 between Salinas and Chua. This area carries a diverse mix of traffic from local residents and commuters to tourism and agricultural transportation, making it a vital transportation link. And with US 101 being the main north and south route along California's central coast, essential for statewide commerce and agricultural distribution, the project's goals are to improve safety for everyone who's traveling this corridor, enhance traffic flow to reduce delays and conflicts, and also support local agriculture and businesses by improving movement and access. Ultimately, this is about making travel safer, smoother, and more reliable for our communities and the industry that keeps this region thriving. And let me drop some info in the chat. Okay, here we go. And for this project, there are 2 related efforts going on. One is addressing a near-term safety project, and also the other is focusing on long-term infrastructure improvements. So for South of Salinas Access Management Project, this is the first phase, aimed to improve safety as soon as possible. It's currently scheduled for construction in 2027. The project will close 11 median crossings between Airport Road and Chua, eliminating left turns and U-turns that have been identified as safety risks. This will help reduce collisions and improve traffic flow along the corridor. The second project, which is the long-term one, is for it's the Corridor Improvement Project, with a phase of construction that's going to start in 2031. It will reconstruct the Abbott Street and Chua interchanges and build new local frontage roads on both sides of the highway. And these improvements will provide safer access to local roads and agricultural properties while maintaining efficient, thorough traffic on Highway 101. And together, these projects will build towards a comprehensive corridor solution. And okay, and then Caltrans is committed to Caltrans is committed to transparency and community engagement throughout the planning phase. So we're hosting 2 public information meetings later this month where community members can learn more about both the near-term and long-term projects, ask questions directly to our project team members, and Spanish interpretation will be available at both meetings. And we encourage everyone to attend and bring your questions and help us ensure that these improvements meet the needs of the community. And then I also have some more information to drop in the chat. Give me a second. We'll do that afterwards, but Caltrans District 5 is here to keep you informed and connected. So please visit our website to learn more about the projects and services across the Central Coast. For non-emergency issues on our highways, such as potholes, litter, graffiti, or damaged signs, please submit a customer service request. Those requests are logged and scheduled and tracked by our closest Caltrans maintenance crews to ensure that we're able to help resolve this situation. And also stay connected by following District 5 on X, Facebook, Instagram, and for real-time travel updates, visit Caltrans Quick Maps. So that is all I have. Thank you.
Celeste, thank you so much, because I know you really were trying to condense really big projects into a very short amount of time. And I know that there's already been some input from the community into what should happen. You know, what should this corridor look like? What are some of the things that you might already be hearing about that might impact this overall project? And I don't know if you or your senior planner might be able to talk about the connections you've already made with the community.
Hi, everyone. My name is John Olejnik. I work with Celeste in our external affairs office and have had the privilege of being a part of this project from the very early days, from the working with the local traffic safety alliances for the South of Salinas projects. Essentially, what we are hearing is there's concern about the median openings. And for anyone, I've been working and driving and serving Monterey County, for over 20 years and really familiar with the 101 corridor, especially in the south of Salinas. The cross median and the illegal turning movements that people make, it is a concern. So we are implementing the short-term project, as Celeste mentioned, to close those medians. That's what we've been hearing. And then long-term vision is there's conflicts between slow-moving agricultural trucks. There's a lot of tourism traffic. There's high-speed traffic, that the high-speed being the unfortunate part of it. There's just a lot of mix of conflicts of traffic. So the long-term project is to help upgrade the facility by providing those frontage roads. And that's what we've been hearing as well. Can we get the agricultural traffic not entering and exiting the freeway at grade? And at grade means there's not an interchange. So we are going to build those two interchanges, and we're going to eliminate some of that at grade movement. So that's our desire. That's what we've been hearing with the community. We have had multiple public meetings. This is just continuing our commitment to be transparent and to share information with our community members, with our friends, because that's very important to Caltrans. We've got 5 counties, 34 cities, and a tribal government that we serve, and our earnest desire is to really have all of our projects be available and open and answer any questions we can. So these 2 meetings coming up are just another in a series of many meetings we've had.
And thank you for pointing that out, because there are people who have been watching this for quite some time. There's been a lot of discussion over time about this. Is this an opportunity for those people to come and see what that project looks like now? Because over time, tweaks have happened to on this overall big picture project.
Great question. And the answer is absolutely yes. We're currently in the environmental phase of the project. And during this process, you're coming up with, you're examining the corridor for environmental constraints, and you're also working to refine what early design look might be. So we've been able to take a lot of information in meeting with property owners, meeting with local governments, working with our regional partners, working with the Traffic Safety Alliance. We've been able to take all those meetings and continue to refine and help define what a scope of some alternatives might be. So this is a chance for the community to come see what we've been doing over the course of the last several months, get the latest information. We're promoting like ways that the community can connect with us, to reach out to us and continue to receive updates. So absolutely, it's a great chance to hear what's going on.
Thank you both for being here to walk us through this and to remind us that there are still opportunities for people to come and look and come and comment on, whatever their concerns might be. And I know it's really important to all those users in that corridor of Highway 101. Thanks for being here. Really do appreciate it. And thanks everyone for joining us on the news briefing this week. Our next briefing is next week, and we'll see you then.